Hello everyone, and welcome to my Hardcore Priest guide. In this guide, I'll talk about the different talent trees that I use at low and max level, different tips and tricks, the professions, but also race I prefer to choose, macros, and a lot of other stuff. Leveling a priest will take a lot of time, but it's also a safe way to level up a character. The reason for this is because of Power with Shield. This allows me to absorb a lot of damage during the fight. And what I usually do is to cast a new shield before I go into combat. That way, during the fight, the debuff might also run out, and then I can apply a new shield to stay at max health. But if you're going to level a priest, then I would highly recommend you to also get an early starter wand. What you can either do is to craft the lesser magic wand as an enchanter, purchase a white wand at a vendor, or even one on the auction house, if you're going to use the auction house on the official classic hardcore servers. There's honestly so many different ways to get an early starter wand. If you are interested in this, then I would highly recommend you to check out my hardcore wand guide. You can find this in the description below this video. Whenever there's two targets, and one of these might be difficult to kill, then what I like to do is to apply a Shadow Word Pain to the target, followed by Mind Control. This allows my Shadow Word Pain to continue doing damage to the target I've mind controlled. That way I can kill it even faster. And whenever the mind control is about to expire, then I can just fear the targets and apply a new dot and a new mind control. And please remember, if you need to heal yourself and there's any nearby melee enemies, then it's important that you don't start healing right away, else you might get knocked back or interrupted. So it's gonna be better to apply a shield and then heal yourself, because when your shield is active, you will also not be knocked back. And remember, you can also use your fear, or your psychic scream, to fear nearby enemies. These enemies will then start running away, and when this happens, then they might also chain pull even more enemies. Therefore, it's also going to be important that you plan your route. What I mean is that when the target is feared, then it's going to be important you don't run in between a camp, because the target that you feared will now run into the camp and pull all nearby enemies. This can be so deadly and probably also cause you to end up dying. Therefore, make sure to plan your escape route. As a priest, you have Mind Soothe. This you can cast on a nearby enemy and increase the range before they will start attacking you. This can be seen right here, where the one to the left is the one with Mind Soothe. This spell is so important to use in dungeons, but also if you need to gather a certain material from the ground. What's quite fun here is that I'm almost next to the enemy with Mind Soothe, but for some reason it's the other one that is getting pulled. This also shows how amazing this spell is, and something that should not be underrated when you level a priest. Whenever you get a new wand, then it might also be tempting to either disenchant or sell the old one, but I would highly recommend you not to do this. Some type of enemies will also be immune to some type of spells. For example, a wand can have fire damage, so if the target is immune to fire spells, then you will also do no damage. Therefore, it will be useful to be able to swap to an old wand with, for example, frost damage. But why is it so important to get an early starter wand? Well, it will save you a lot of mana. So after 5 seconds of no casting, you will be able to restore mana, and using a wand will not count as casting. So what I usually do is to start with either a smite or a mind blast, then I apply a Shadow Word Pain, followed by my wand. And this rotation allows you to always have a lot of mana, so you never have to spend any time drinking. Also super useful in case something happens and you need to have enough mana to escape and heal yourself. There's one last trick I would like to share before I talk about the best talents to choose, profession, race, and other things. So you might have tried this before. You spam your shoot ability, or your wand, because you would like to kill the target fast. But what you will also notice is that it will be next to impossible to start shooting. This we can easily fix with a macro. So what you will need to do is just to type /cast !shoot. This allows you to spam this macro. Of course you need to drag it down through your action bar, but what will also happen now is that you can spam this ability without interrupting or stopping the wand. Next up is the different talent trees I like to choose when I level up a priest. Between level 1 or level 10 to 40, I don't prefer to go into full shadow. I prefer to make a combination of shadow and discipline, so I have more damage with my wand, but also still a decent amount of damage with my shadow spells. When you reach level 40, you can then just continue to spend points or you could go to the priest trainer, unlearn your talents and go full shadow, so you also unlock shadow form. But of course, if you don't want to spend 1 gold and respec your character, then you will just unlock shadow form at level 45. I know some of you might also be curious why I pick up silence, but honestly at this level range there's also more and more enemies that can heal themselves. But else, you could just always respec at level 40 or simply just go full shadow at the beginning when you level up your priest, and then your talent choice would look like this. On the official classic hardcore servers, there will also be a cooldown on dungeons, so you can only do the same dungeon once every 24 hours. Therefore, I would not recommend you to level up as Discipline or Holy Priest. So what is the best race to choose as a priest? Well, in Classic, priests get 2 different racial abilities depending on what race they prefer to play. Here you can see a list of the different abilities. As a dwarf, you get Desperate Prayer, an ability you can use to instantly heal yourself. You also get Fear Ward, this you can cast on yourself and other party members. Super useful in dungeons and raids where there's fear mechanics. Pretty much also the best race to choose as an alliance player. As a human, you also get Desperate Prayer and a new spell, Feedback. Feedback is honestly not that great, and one of the main reasons why I dislike a human priest. As a Night Elf priest, you unlock Star Shards, but this spell isn't that great. It's honestly gonna be better just to apply a Shadow Word Pain and use your wand. And Elune's Grace won't really benefit your leveling that much. Both of these racials will also not benefit your raid, so at level 60 they're pretty much also useless. As a Troll priest, you won't really benefit from the racials. But as a Troll, you get Berserker, and this is still super powerful as a priest. Undead is definitely still useful, especially if you plan to play as a Shadow Priest. Devouring Plague is an ability you can use to add an additional damage over time. There is of course a long cooldown, but it can be quite useful. But to be honest, then I would probably prefer to play as a Troll, as you benefit way more from Berserkering and regeneration. So what will be the best profession to choose as a priest? Well, I would probably either choose engineering and mining, so you can make target dummies in case you pull too many enemies and you would like to get away, or the second option, and probably also the most safest and best thing to do, would be to pick up tailoring and enchanting. This will allow you to craft different cloth items you can use as you level up, and you can also disenchant these to get enchanting materials, and these materials you can then use to level up enchanting and craft different wands. So I hope you enjoyed this priest guide. If you would like to see other class guides or many other tips and tricks for hardcore, then make sure to check out the channel or subscribe to get notified the next time I post a new video. In the description, you can also find a link to an amazing leveling guide and also my WoW Classic Hardcore gold making guide. But as always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!